In this video, I discussed the 6 secrets you need to know about when hiring a virtual assistant. Now, this can be for any business, but the examples I'm going to use is when it comes to selling on Amazon. When should you actually hire a virtual assistant? Where can you find one from? What do you need to ask them when you're interviewing them? And how do you instruct them when it comes to work? I discussed that all in this video. Hello everyone, it's Sajad, Stealth Amazon FBA. I hope you're doing well. So we'll get straight into the video, but first, a quick announcement. In my last video on this channel, I did mention that I'm giving away one free coaching program just as a thank you for us now reaching over 1,000 subscribers. And I'm going to mention the winner of that competition a little bit later in this video. So what are the 6 secrets? Secret number 1. First of all, I'm going to show you exactly where to find virtual assistants. The 2 websites I tend to use are onlinejobs.ph and also Upwork. Now, there are other freelancer websites as well. For example, you can use places like fiverr.com, but that's mainly for actually one task or one set of work. What I'm talking about is working with staff long term, whether that be for a few weeks or a few months or even a few years. And usually it's completely free to set up an account with these different websites, and you can set up kind of a free trial. For example, onlinejobs.ph, it has a free trial period, but then after that they charge, I think it's around $97 per month. But by then, hopefully you should have hired already. So I go into these websites, and there are 2 ways you can do it, but the main way to do it is to actually post the job. I don't want to make this video too long, but if you want to know specifically all of the questions that I asked, just comment below and I'll do a separate kind of step-by-step video about that. But anyway, secret number 2 is how to hire. So when you're actually working with someone for the first time, what you want to do is set up kind of like a probation period. So that tends to be anywhere from 1 week or 2 weeks in my experience. And what I'm hoping to do there is, after giving them some instructions on exactly what they have to do, and more on that in just a minute in this video, I expect to catch up with them after 1 or 2 weeks to see how they're doing, how they're getting on, any feedback they have from their side in terms of how they found the work, and also from your side as well, how well they've actually completed the tasks. After that probation period, you can then set up kind of a more temporary contract with them going forward. Now, in terms of pricing, I prefer to set up weekly pricing or monthly or even fortnightly, or the other way to do it is by volume of work. For example, if you're working with a video editor, you can say for a certain number of videos, this is what I'm willing to pay. However, the method I don't like, and I've seen it talked about here on YouTube, is clocking in hours. So in terms of the amount of work they're actually doing and then setting an hourly rate, I don't like that, because the problem is it just adds a lot of friction to the business. I prefer to just set a general amount, and there will be times when things are a little bit quiet. There'll be time when things are a little bit busier, but I expect the VA to work around that. You as a business owner as well, you'll have to be flexible. Some weeks you'll be working 7 days a week, and you won't mind that, especially if you're enjoying the work anyway. But flexibility is important, and you always want to reduce friction in your business wherever possible. I do not have time to track exactly what each VA is doing hour by hour, and I don't think that's fair on them either, because it will just add too much pressure to the job. Also, in terms of how to hire, when you're sharing passwords for different types of software, for example, Amazon accounts and things like that, you can use various different software to do that. I prefer to use LastPass. So especially where I'm sharing social media, video editing or something like that, lastpass.com is a fantastic Chrome extension to use, where it automatically shares the password with, for example, a team member, but they don't get to see the actual password itself. It just kind of automatically populates when they log in, if that makes sense. Also, when hiring virtual assistants, I approach it a little bit differently. Again, I've seen online people talk about asking them a whole set of questions about their life story, what they like doing, what they dislike doing, their hobbies and interests. I don't do any of that nonsense. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. Look, they're going to eventually, if they work with you long term, they're going to be almost like family to you. And you're going to be talking to them, for example, a lot more often than you might talk to a sibling or a family member. And that's completely normal, and that's a good thing. You want to develop that rapport. However, you don't need to ask them all of these fancy nonsense questions. Neither is the VA interested a lot of the time, and neither are you. The most important thing is, can they actually do the tasks that you require within a certain time frame, and can they do that for you on a regular basis at an appropriate amount of kind of reimbursement or compensation. That's it, end of story. So you don't need to overcomplicate the process when it comes to interviewing. It should be very, very simple, especially if they have the requisite experience. So the one question I do actually ask them is, what type of work have you done before that's related to what we're looking for? But like I said, I can do all of that in a separate video if you're interested in terms of the exact interview questions I ask, but they're not very complicated. They're quite basic actually. And understand as well when it comes to actually paying them, the various different ways to do it, but you don't want to penny pinch when it comes to dealing with staff. You're here in a business that you're looking to scale up further. So there's no point trying to negotiate with them over $1 or $2 here or there. Don't penny pinch. It's better you don't do that and you actually concentrate on making many more hundreds of dollars in your existing business and spending your time and efforts in that area. Secret number 3, the why. So obviously when it comes to hiring a virtual assistant, you're doing it to obviously take off some of the time load when it comes to your daily tasks, but also to help scale your business. It will save you time hiring a virtual assistant, but my recommendation to you is make sure you know how to do every aspect of your business first well, to a decent level. You don't have to be an expert, but to a decent level, because then when you're actually discussing with them the exact tasks you want, you know what you're talking about. And you don't get confused when they come back and say something to you or offer you some feedback. So you should have a good idea of how to do everything. As a just a basic example, if you were getting somebody to do video editing for you, you should have a basic idea of how to do this first, in my opinion. That way, the tasks will be complete a lot better and the quality of your video editing will be better because you know what you're doing as well as the video editor, if that makes sense. And also understand that you're hiring the VA to help you with the kind of simple, repetitive tasks. Just a very simple example is on Amazon, when you're in your seller account, there is a button you can click if you want to directly request a review from a customer, and you can click that button. But you do not have time to do hundreds of clicks every single day once you're scaling up your business. You can easily ask somebody else to do that for you. And that's a very simple task, but it wastes a lot of time for you as an entrepreneur, and it'd be easier to hire that out, if that makes sense. So a very simple example there is those types of tasks that you need help on. But again, don't rush to hire extra people at the beginning. You should be able to do a lot of that basic stuff yourself when you're doing lower numbers in terms of revenue, for example. So in any business, if you're less than 10,000 per month in terms of revenue, I would say don't even think about a VA for now. It's when you scale up past that, that's when you should get a VA involved. And don't rush to hire hundreds of people. Just start with one person, develop a relationship, and then move on from there. Also, one thing you should never kind of task out or share, in my opinion, is when it comes to finances. That's something, number one, you need to know specifically day in, day out, how much money is coming in, how much money is going out in terms of costs as a business owner. And also, I think for safety reasons as well, it's just a better idea for you to control that. That usually wouldn't take up much of your time. Everything else you can absolutely outsource. And just before I share the next secret, I want to announce the winner of our coaching and mentoring program, as I mentioned in my last video. So thank you for so many people who actually commented on that video and entered the competition. It was quite overwhelming, a lot more than I was expecting, because I thought this channel was still quite small. But what I've done is I put all of the comments here in a random YouTube kind of competition winner generator thing, and you'll see that somewhere here in the screen now. And it will announce the winner in just a second. And can that winner please contact me directly on sajad@amazonwizard.co.uk, and I'll make sure I get you set up on the training and coaching platform. Just remember, I am offering that program. It's the first link in the description below, and there is a special coupon code there. So you will get a discount on the training program if you are interested. You can always email me on, again, sajad@amazonwizard.co.uk if you have any questions, and I'll respond to them directly as best as I can. Number 4, I call it the 9-to-5 syndrome, if that's even a phrase, or the mindset you need when it comes to hiring. Just understand that for a lot of you watching here, hiring somebody will be completely new to you and alien to you, and that's completely okay. It was for me as well a few years ago, the first time I hired somebody to help me with my businesses. Your task as an entrepreneur, and this is absolutely no disrespect for those of you who are still doing a 9-to-5 job, but your task is to do the exact opposite of what people who are doing 9-to-5s are doing in every aspect. And in my experience, that is pretty much true. So for example, complaining about doing your job, you shouldn't be doing that. Worrying or being scared about investing in your business, you don't want to do that. Scared about hiring people because you've never done it before. Being afraid to spend money to make more money. Being afraid to invest in your education. All of those things you have to deal with now, because the mindset you'll need is the polar opposite in my experience. In fact, a lot of people you see here on YouTube, for example, I run a coaching and mentoring program when it comes to selling on Amazon. Now, there are other people on YouTube who offer similar services for a variety of different businesses. They may have a course when it comes to video editing that they offer. But one thing I can tell you for nearly 100%, I would say about 99% certainty, is that all of these people who are also offering coaching and mentoring, they've all invested in their own education before. They've all actually purchased various types of courses and programs in the past. When it comes to anything in relation to business, I would say about 99% sure about that. And why? They've done that because it just speeds up the process. It makes everything a lot quicker. It fills in any gaps in their knowledge, even if they think they're quite proficient at the moment. So just keep that in mind as well. Again, it goes to my previous kind of phrase that I use, penny pinching. You don't want to do that when it comes to business. If you're at the 10,000 per month mark and you have an opportunity per day to spend 1,000 to make 4,000 more, you will do that. You don't want to save the 1,000 there. You want to spend it. But understand that when you're in a 9-to-5 mindset, it's completely the opposite. You want to cut costs where possible. You want to make phone calls to your electricity provider to see if you can save £5 or £10 on your bill. That's a completely different mindset. Secret number 5 when it comes to hiring virtual assistants, have clarity. And what do I mean by that? Well, is very, very clear on the tasks you want and very clear instructions to your VAs. Now, the thing is, when you're running a business, week by week, it may change in terms of the tasks you need because all businesses are evolving. You have to evolve with that and be prepared to change the tasks your VA requires. So expect them to be flexible. Now, not all VAs are, but the vast majority in my experience, they're more than happy to do anything for you really, anything that you need help with when it comes to your business. So be prepared to change the tasks on a week by week basis and don't be afraid to kind of change their compensation if needed. I find it's more useful just to be open and honest with them up front and let them know how your business is going and what you expect in the immediate few weeks. It's very hard to say what's going to be happening with your business 6 months down the line, 1 year down the line. So don't make any false promises. Just be honest with them week by week and I'm sure they'll appreciate that. Secret number, well, we're on 6 now, is tracking. You have to set up some way of actually tracking what they're doing. Now, this is easier to do than you think. I stay away from Trello and all of these other types of software where you can keep an eye on things and you can share that with them. Again, why do I do that? It just overcomplicates everything. I do not have time to go on to these different types of software and type up their plans on a daily basis and see if they've ticked all of these actions. I only care that they do the work that I request of them. And what I might do once, maybe every couple of weeks, something like that, is I actually check in on these different types of software like Amazon, etc. and I see whether that work's done. Did they respond to these customer questions? Did they request reviews? Did they do this or that? Very, very easy for me to just check in. And if they're doing the work that I've asked them to do, that's it. I'll just check again once again after 2 weeks. And I welcome feedback from them. I want them to update me perhaps once a week to let me know how everything's going. If they had any areas that they were not sure of, that's a lot easier and a lot less onerous on you as a business owner. So set aside a little bit of time just to check on their work. That's all you have to do. Do not overcomplicate this. And a final bonus tip for you is to understand that your gut instinct for hiring people will develop over time. And after a while, it will become very, very good, scary good, to the point where just by looking at somebody and actually seeing what their first few replies are to your messages, or whether they've even responded to your messages or emails, you'll know immediately how well they will do for your business. And it's amazing how that gut instinct develops, and that will develop in different areas of your business. So don't be worried if the first few hires that you have don't pan out so well long term. That's completely normal. You'll develop that instinct over time and you'll learn to be a bit sharper there in picking up on the tells when it comes to hiring new staff. So again, it goes back to that 9-to-5 thing that I mentioned before. Trust yourself and be confident. Have belief that in a few years, you'll be very, very good at all of this stuff. And it's completely normal for you not to have the experience now. I get so many people contacting me saying they're interested in selling on Amazon, but they don't have any experience. Yeah, nobody has any experience before they first start selling on Amazon or starting any other business. There was a time when nobody had any experience. That all comes through actually putting in the action and getting started. So don't delay, just get started. So I'll leave it there for this video. Thanks for listening and I'll see you all in the next one.